Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Buddha. Dear children, we are going to have a Dhamma talk series specially for children. In this Dhamma talk series, we are going to talk about who is the Buddha and what's Buddhism. Also, how to apply the teachings of the Buddha into our children's day-to-day lives. Today, I would like to talk about who is the Buddha. Buddha means nothing but compassion and wisdom. If someone asks you, who is the Buddha? Just meaningfully, you have to answer for that question like this. The Buddha means compassion and wisdom. If someone comes to Buddhism, that means who is going to follow the Buddha's teachings. So that's why, as the followers of the Buddha, we used to take refuge in the Buddha by reciting Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi. It comes in Pali terms. That means I go to the Buddha for my refuge, or I take refuge in the Buddha. That means I promise myself to follow the Buddha's noble teachings. Can you remember? The Buddha means nothing but compassion and wisdom. If you are going to follow the Buddha's teachings, that means we have to be kind people. You have to be a kind person. At the same time, you have to follow the wisdom, what the Buddha taught us to follow daily. You have to be a kind person. You know why? We have done lots of meritorious deeds in our past lives. As Buddhists, we believe in rebirth. Is that right? Yes. There are so many evidence, but it's not the time to discuss on that question. Anyway, we believe in rebirth. According to the Buddha's teachings, to be a human who has to do lots of good things, we call as pin in Sinhala, punya in Pali, in English, merits or wholesome activities with understanding. We have done lots of wholesome activities in our past lives. As a result of that action or deed, we became a human rather than being an animal. We had to feel sorry for them, because being an animal is a bad situation who is going to have. Therefore, we have to respect ourselves by thinking, without being an animal or ghost, I became a human being. So, I'm grateful for my past good karma. Also, I'm grateful for my parents, those who gave me a life. You have to be a kind person towards yourself. At the same time, you have to be a kind to your mother and father. They are the beings at the very beginning of your life. They came to you and murmured, I love you, my son or daughter. In their words, I love you, my darling. I would like to sacrifice everything in my life because of you. By saying like that, they are doing everything because of you. Therefore, being a Buddhist, first thing is you have to be a kind person. For yourself, at the same time for your parents. You have to start with your family. And then you have to have your own experience with compassion. When you go to school, you have to be kind to your teachers, also to your friends, classmates. You have to be a kind person to them. You have to share your feelings and things with each other. It's Buddhism. It's a way of practice in Buddhism. That's a beautiful attitude of a Buddhist. Therefore, if you want to introduce yourself as a Buddhist, first thing is you have to be a kind person. At the same time, you have to be kind to others. They are not your family members or relatives. Of course, they are beings, human beings like us. Those who respect themselves, they love themselves like us. We don't want to be beaten by anyone else. We love themselves. By thinking this way, being a kind person, we have to respect everybody. Not only that, we have to respect all living beings, because everybody loves themselves. You know, as human beings, we have done lots of good things in our previous lives. As a result of that, we became humans. There are lots of thousands, millions, billions of animals all over the world. Sorry to say, they have not done good things or meritorious deeds enough. So that's why they became animals. Anyway, being a kind person, we have to respect everybody, including tiny creatures. That means there's a Buddhist who is so kind. Anumodana. Thank you.